Alright, good evening everyone. Sana naririnig po ako. Wala namang binago sa settings from last week. So,
Let me check.
from the last
It is weird.
podcast. So, I hope we're being
Super
heard
strange.
by everybody. So, tonight is another evening of Level Up Geek Night podcast. And we have a very interesting topic tonight. So, I hope you guys will join us. But before anything else, make sure to share our stream. Kung nakikita nyo po yung stream namin tonight, please make sure to share it because we have an interesting topic and I'm sure pang social media tong topic na to.
It's very. No, that's not the right word. I was gonna say it's
Meaningful?
very monetary. No, it's not.
Alright, so I think we're good to go. Again, my name is John. I am the Christian Geek and together with us, I have our favorite gamer and bear, Gio. Hi, Gio.
I don't think favorite is the right word.
No,
Well,
you
you're
are our favorite gamer bear.
You're our favorite bear to beat.
Bear to beat.
Okay.
Of course, we have our boss man COO, John G.
Yo.
And of
Hello,
course, our very special friend. Special friend.
Yes, because
special,
I'm a special child.
our special
Oh,
guest
God.
for this evening who is an honorary member. Actually, founding member siya ng Level Up. The Geeks himself, Houson, Vince Houson. Hey, Vince.
Hello, hello, hello. What's up, what's up, what's up? Shit.
So,
Sheesh. So it's an all boys talk tonight. Hopefully
Yeah,
the women
it
can
is.
join us in the chat, but
The
and
boys
everybody
talking
else.
tonight.
And I want to say hi to the 6 viewers. I'm one of the 6 viewers.
And I'm also one of the 6 viewers.
So we have 2 viewers.
Four.
No.
Four naman. Four
Four.
naman.
No,
Four
no, because
naman.
I'm also one of those.
So 3.
And
I am not one of the viewers.
Oh, we have 3 viewers.
We have 3 viewers. Hello
Yes.
to the 3 viewers.
Okay na yan.
I mean, itong group right now, what we have is like, ano yung kanta ng ano, JB?
Anong
Yung
kanta?
High School Musical, The Boys Are Back.
The boys are back. The boys are back. Sayang wala akong ano dito sound card para mag-play ng mga ano. Pero de bale soon. Yung phone ko, yung isang spare phone ko dito, i-convert ko na to a stream deck.
Wow.
Very nice.
Sana all.
Kesa naman bumili ako ng sariling stream deck, sobrang mahal. It's so expensive. Anyway, so what's our topic for tonight, John?
So our topic for tonight is disagreement, criticism, and handling feedback. Did I get it right? Okay, good.
Yes. So, what about this topic? Why so important? Why so important? English ko.
Why so important?
I don't know. Why don't you?
Nawala yung audio mo, John. Again, what did you say?
Hello, mic test.
There
Ayan.
you go.
Okay.
The mic has been tested. And
Why is it so important? It's just I said. Just echoing Gio.
Hmm. I
Ano
mean,
nga ba?
it's definitely important to handle. I mean, know how to handle, especially criticism and stuff like that. Because I mean, it basically borderlines being improving yourself and just breaking relationships with each other. I think. See,
True.
like if you don't know how to handle a criticism, you will get mad at the person because they were just trying to help out maybe, and in that you basically like ruin friendships
The
and
boys are
and
back.
you're being prideful into the point na you're not gonna improve on it yourself.
French.
Nice. Totoo
Them
naman.
boys.
I think one of the things that we as Filipinos, I will say it, as Filipinos, we're very immature when it comes to handling disagreements, feedback, and criticism. Don't you agree, Vince?
Why would you say that?
Tapos talagang binato mo sa akin no? Pero I agree to agree. being in the forefront of a lot of things. We are as a nation very very onion skinned.
I think I don't know if it's I don't know if it's an East Asian thing. And when I say East Asia, Southeast Asia, Far East Asia, basta ganun, that region, Pacific Asian thing, where it's all about maintaining appearances. That sometimes we're so afraid that when somebody disagrees with us, we feel right
Affronted.
affronted or offended already. Because we're
Mhm.
not used to that kind of treatment.
Yung nga, sabi ni Bea Alonso, parang kasalanan ko.
Yes. Yung favorite meme or quote
One
ni
of our
Vince from that
favorite
movie.
Pinoy meme.
Yeah. Ba't parang kasalanan ko?
Totoo,
So-
'di ba? Kaya parang may sinabi ka lang, biglang parang kasalanan mo na.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know.
So
Sa
it's
piling-
like people get offended easily. People get offended easily.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it. So it's like why? Why do people get offended so easily? I mean, I guess there are a lot of ways to tackle it.
I think the Bible actually is very clear about that though. I think it's because ano eh the truth siya, it's about the truth eh. And I think sometimes people are just afraid of the truth. But the
Mhm.
truth, the Bible says the truth shall set us free. Yes.
So does that mean they can't handle the truth?
I think-
Actually, in a certain sense,
Yes.
they can't handle the truth.
I don't want to quote another movie, but I already did, so.
No, quote all the movies. That's why we're
quote all the movies.
Can't handle the truth.
exactly.
Yes, because things are not crystal clear. The reference.
Eh, paano kung clear ka na, pero biglang nawala? Ay, wait, sorry. We're talking about a different topic pala. I apologize.
Ako, personal experience ko talaga is that people are just sometimes, they misunderstand frankness and being able to give criticism and feedback as something as negative or something na parang personal. And hindi naman lahat ng, ako for me, disagreements and feedback, hindi naman lahat yun personal eh. Diba?
Or wait, maybe another way to say this: hindi siya intended to hurt you, because oftentimes it can be personal, but the way we understand personal is like personalan, eh, tipong
Oo.
how do we use that word na personal or personalan? I'm just saying this to hit you where it hurts. Like
Mhm.
you personally, I want to attack and offend you and hurt you, but not all criticism and feedback is intended for the purpose of injury.
Yeah.
Right.
Diba?
Yes.
So, real talk, diba? Actually, it is often necessary for growth because we're not perfect, and anyone who
Mhm.
doesn't know how to receive, or anyone who does not want to receive feedback is someone who basically says like, no, I'm fine the way I am, and I don't need improvement. Why? Are you perfect? Maybe. In effect, almost nobody's gonna say they're perfect.
I
But
mean,
if you say you don't need feedback, technically you're saying
yeah, I mean, if somebody says that they're perfect, they're perfect. They're perfectly wrong. So,
you're perfect.
they're
Perfectly
perfectly
wrong.
Yeah.
wrong.
Or
Ako,
it's not that they're perfect. It's just that parang in their mind, like I'm on a higher scale than your hierarchy or whatever.
I'm good
Like-
enough the way
like-
I am.
Like in this industry, I'm better than you, like comparatively in this specific skill.
Where I
kind of
am, right? Where I am in life. This community, this group, this
thing.
thing,
Yeah.
I'm
This-
good enough.
No, I meant more like it's like comparing your skills to each other. Like what? Who are you to tell me to do this? I'm better than you. This.
Exactly.
Yeah, it boils down kasi to ano yung pinangunguna eh. Does your pride come first? or does your, your ano yung term dito, does your idea of connecting with people more important?
Sometimes it's not even just connecting with people.
Yeah.
What is your view of other people? Are they can you learn from them? Because
Yeah.
there's different ways to approach it. It's either like I am building a relationship with these people, I am maintaining a relationship,
Mhm.
or I can view you as valuable and I can learn from you. So like it's a
Yeah.
Mhm.
mix of all things. But if you don't have any of those things, voila.
It's
That's
it's like what you said kanina. It's a matter of perspective din eh. Parang there are people who think na I don't they're doing things wrong. I won't learn from these kinds of people. But if
yeah.
you put that in a perspective, kung tingin mo mali yung ginagawa nila, and then at least you're learning something. The thing is, you're learning how not to do things.
Uh, uh,
Diba? It's a matter of how
True.
you look at it eh. Parang,
True.
yeah, meron akong mga certain people na ganyan na before when I was a young warthog, inaano ko yun eh. Tinitingnan ko na, hindi, I won't learn anything from this person. Wala naman ako matututunan. Kasi, parang people have always stepped on me. So what would I learn from them? And then I realized later on na, ano eh, hindi, I would learn something from them. It's not how to, how to treat people properly.
Hmm.
No, kasi when you treat people this way, it doesn't feel good. And
Yeah.
I'd rather,
Like you can see how wrong it is. Actually.
yeah.
Ito yung
Sabi nga, actually, I'll just check the comments, no, and na-mention nga yung pride. Sabi pa nga ni Nina, fried chicken daw. Ba't laging pagkain? But
food is
what is it really about criticism and feedback or even disagreements with other people that irks us aside from pride? I'm sure pride is a number one factor dyan, no? Kasi may ayaw nating masaktan. But I think, what is it really that irks us with it?
Well, it's normally pride eh. Pero I guess may part envy rin, I guess.
like if you break it down.
Yeah. Ewan ko, I think part of that is also envy. Emotion-wise, envy. Na parang, inggit ako sa meron ka eh. So parang, ba't ako makikinig sa'yo? I want nga what you have. Yung mga ganun na. That goes to the part na hindi, it's illogical na. Pero
That is
ganun yung
pretty
nagiging
illogical, yeah.
process.
It is
Pero
illogical.
ganun yung nagiging process. Diba?
In general kasi a negative sorry I think in general if your person is able to step back from it
Mhm.
there is no real downside to being able to receive feedback, being able to receive criticism, and to being able to understand and know how to disagree.
Mhm.
I have some really great friendships because I learned how to disagree with them in a healthy way, which is actually took years of practice. It's like,
Yeah.
how can you live with someone whom you disagree with? In
Mm.
some ways, you have no choice because
To live it.
you might not have a family that's very agreeable, diba? So some people have it,
Mhm.
some people don't. That's just life, right? Some people are caught in a workplace, perhaps, where very disagreeable, possibly yung work culture. So,
Mhm.
but you have to stay there for a while at least, because you needed to make a living. That's where
Yeah.
you can earn.
Yeah, actually, that's where I am right
Oh,
now.
oh, grabe naman.
No,
It's
no, it's a bit more. It's more nuanced, I guess. I actually
yeah,
want to address yung what Kyle said in the chat.
sure.
People always say tone, but those are the exact same people that don't accept correction or disagreement from anyone, regardless of tone. Seems like an excuse to always reject correction.
Yeah.
On that end, I would respectfully disagree because I was one of those people before that actually would not listen to people because of how they say things. If there was an actual we actually had a sit down
Wow.
session with the guy that always, correct. He corrects me on a lot of things, but because he is in an area where um, rough language is the norm. But we sit down, we talked.
Mm-hmm.
You need to fix your tone, sir, because if you don't, I will not listen to you at all. And he did. He fixed his tone, and I was able to, we were able to communicate properly. So I think in that end, we don't have to assume that it's always because they reject correction, especially in the internet.
Yeah.
And considering the people I'm with, na I have a certain way of talking to people online, and they had to get used to it. Sad to say, I'm sorry, guys. Pero yeah, it's the tone.
That's
And then also at the same time, you as the communicator, as the person who communicates, you have to adjust your language. Kaya nga, I've been trying to add ha-ha-has or emojis at the end because people I know yung mga nanonood ngayon is always thinks na nagseryoso ako mag-reply online. Which I'm not. It's just that I reply in a deadpan way. And sometimes I might
Dry
the tone,
humor.
dry humor, and yung the tone I say things, since I am a very direct person, is always or more often than not misconstrued. So I also need to adjust on my end. So yeah, I think it's a bit of it's a mixed bag, pero don't think that people are out there just to not accept correction.
I can definitely
I-
agree with the Vince.
Mhm.
And but I don't wholeheartedly agree, mainly because yes, wait, number one, just to clarify, I agree that tone is important. I think that's
Yes.
very important, especially online, because online walang tone pag written language. I've had to learn certain expressions to put into my statements. Sometimes, especially when disagreeing, mga like, pasensya na po, hindi ko intention makipag-away. However, yung ganun, may mga ganun akong lines. I have
it's
to
very
put those
difficult.
lines because feeling ng ibang tao, especially when I'm stating facts, that I'm, parang out for an argument. When for me, I'm just, I just want a discussion. So, I definitely agree with the idea. But at the same time, yung I can also see people who say that they dapat ayusin mo yung the way you deliver your message, pero at the same time actually kahit ano sabihin mo sa kanila hindi naman sila nakikinig. So ano pa yung point? May mga ganun din kasi tao, and I've experienced people like that. So sometimes there are situations where is it even still purposeful to reply to someone when you know that they're not going to listen? 'Di ba? So parang baka it will just lead into more arguments. So parang there has to, ako for me, nakita ko yung importance ng tone. Yes, agree ako kay Vince there, but at the same time importance din discerning whether etong tao ba makikinig ba kahit anumang tono mo, makikinig ba sila? Kasi kung hindi rin, ay wag ka na mag-reply, wag mo nang i-engage kasi pointless eh. Mag-aaway lang kayo.
There are like areas na parang, is this the anthill you're willing to die for that argument? And if it is, then go ahead, fight it. But then it's just an anthill.
It's knowing whether this person is someone you can actually
Talk to.
phone or talk, or is this a person na wala talaga, wala. Sorry na. Of course, let's not try to give up on people that.
One of our commenters has a hugot about mga tita na...
Yeah, actually, I want to address that next kasi may tanong siya kanina eh. Amen.
Yung mga tita na laging nagko-comment ng weight mo kahit payat healthy ka na. Or pag minsan you just don't wanna hear it. Sometimes you just don't wanna hear it. Paano nga ba? How do you respond to that?
Buti nga yung tita ko na isa na nanonood. Yes, special mention. Hindi ganun.
Kasi matatakot balik sa kanya.
Hindi. I'm not like that. Too much. I hear
I
that.
think
That's too
I
much.
think in the end it also has to do with the relationship we have with the person.
Mhm.
But like there are certain comments like you take differently depending on the person.
Mhm.
Like let's say I mean what from up you getting the same criticism or comment from a person you hate versus someone you respect.
Yeah.
It's literally it would literally be the same word for word, but
that's true. True. Uh,
uh,
we had that experience. Actually, when he was a young warthog,
When I was a young warthog,
he displayed that more. So it's also a sign of maturity that I don't want to listen to you, but I look for the truth in what you're saying, and
yeah.
then I just bitterly take that pill. Because some people, the words sound less bitter from,
Yeah.
but for some, it's just a bit sweeter. So I mean, admittedly, it is just simply easier to take feedback from certain people than others,
'cause,
given
yeah,
whatever the relationship is. That's true.
I think it has to be because you know their intentions, right?
Yes.
Like because you with family members or close personal friends, you know that they want what's best for
What's
you, so
best?
you can understand where the whole thing is coming from. Versus if it was someone that you just um
Mm, on the street. Pero syempre,
yeah.
at the same time, adjustment din on both parties. It's not just the people who are taking it, it's also people who are giving it. Kasi parang, I have this mindset na if I can't take it, then I shouldn't say it.
Yeah,
Like,
parang what's the word they say?
adjustment.
Be able to dish it out or something.
Yeah, if you can dish it, don't dish it out if you can't take it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
I
yeah.
go for
That's
a lot of.
definitely something to ano. Pero alam mo, pag minsan kasi iba talaga yung dating ng pamilya. I have to say, the family is really harder.
Ah.
It's like
It's
It's like-
harder, I think, because you can't really like respond to them harshly compared to other
Oh.
people.
something.
It depends on
Ako, I've had interactions with my parents about my weight, and I'm like sometimes kasi the ways they say it so parang derogatory dating sa akin. So I've had to say it like, guys,
As
it
matter of fact.
hurts when you say it like that. It feels like you are demeaning me. No? Parang pinagtatawanan nyo ako. Yun yung I had to say it at one point. They stopped for a while and they started doing it again.
parang parents
Oh,
pala.
parents eh. Pero pag like
Alam mo
say
yun-
for example, I have had conversations about like weight with friends where ako yung nagsabi na parang bro, I hope you don't mind me saying ha. Parang, tas I'd use other words rather than ang taba-taba po na. I'd use parang, is it just me or parang lumulusog ka? Yung mga ganon. So parang, rather than say it out straight na parang nangaaway ka or nangaaway talaga yun, na parang use some other words and parang I try to be pasintabi po. And mas
Parang
na-appreciate
ano yun
ng mga kaibigan ko pag ganun yung ginagawa ko.
Ano rin yan eh, parang kaya nga sometimes it's kinda one of the things I guess it's harder to take it from family is nakikita mo yung baho nila. So when they try to tell you about your life, parang for example, ito na lang, bibigyan na lang ng example on on my family. Tinanong ba naman sa akin, anak, obviously kanina galing na yun eh. Anak, masaya ka na ba sa buhay mo?
Wow.
Ginanon ako. And I was like, it was this time na I was freelancing, blogging, and also doing reviews monthly. And ito yun na, take note, nagbibigay pa ako sa kanya monthly. Tapos sasabihin niya sa akin yun. Yung time na yun, talagang nagpintig yung tenga ko and parang, how dare you say that to me? Ako, buti nga binibigyan pa kita eh, na ganito and all that. But at the same time, parang, kasi, alam mo yung, yun eh, it comes to a point na alam mo bakit yung I assumed what that person meant.
Mm.
Na parang, para na, parang ang dating is, get a better job so I can ask more money from you.
So nagkaroon ka ng assumption dun sa sinasabi ng magulang
Based on-
mo.
Yeah.
Based on their
when-
current relationship.
Because of
Yeah.
because of your current relationship with them rather than baka iba palang ibig niya sabihin.
Yeah. Pero,
So of course we know that sometimes assuming
makes an ass of you and me.
that
Yes. It does.
You and me?
You and me.
You and
Pero
me.
Assuming
I
kasi.
think, well, number one, ako, for me, one of the things that I always struggle with kasi when mga ganyan yung criticism and feedback and it comes from family members, especially parents. Kasi, di ba, we're supposed to honor our parents. So, parang ako, pag minsan,
Mm-hmm.
ganun lang ako, parang, sakitin! Huwag ka magalit,
Yeah, that
huwag ka
too.
magalit. And sometimes I have to, yun nga, I think, a good way is to deal with it is ask exactly what do they mean by what they're saying. Kasi mahirap na mag-assume. Kung sa babae nga, ayaw natin mag-assume, bakit pa sa parents natin, di ba?
Why do you have to go there? But sige, sure.
Am I wrong though?
wrong,
Wow.
unfortunately is
Di ba? Parang one way to, in that regard, is really to ask them, what exactly do they mean by that statement? Diba? Yung kalma lang, hindi yung nangaaway. Pero ako naman unang aamin na sometimes may mga statements talaga parang gusto mo namang away kagad eh.
that is
Mhm.
so. I think we're touching on one of the points na culture-wise, diba? So family is like actually core culture that we have.
Family.
A lot of
family.
diba?
Family.
Ah, yeah.
Core culture yan eh.
Family.
So it's a very Asian thing. And I think actually not just so even with other families that it was mentioned that you get to see the full truth of who these people are. That adds to the relation complications, which makes it even harder to take feedback, criticism from because we say it so offhandedly. Diba? Wala na silang inisip eh. It's very raw and it's very unfiltered. They're just like, I'll just say what I think. I don't care about your feeling.
Yeah.
So there's something we have to learn from that, which is that the people we talk to in our family also have feelings. And the mature thing is to remember that yes, people have feelings, including your children. Your children have feelings too. So you don't just like, just take everything I say and you don't have feelings, basta absorb lahat. So that's something we were being taught. So this is not a parenting podcast, but it's just it's something that we're exploring. Like your relationships, the people you're dealing with have feelings. It goes back again, jumping back to how you view other people. Like how do you view other adults? How do you view your children? Diba? Kasi I think especially with Asian families and Filipino families, it can be difficult for parents to realize that their children are
No more.
human. They're human beings. That they're adults. Sometimes, especially when they're adults, they may actually know more about certain things, and that's a
Yeah.
humbling thought. Kasi adults na sila, di ba? But it's more of the case that this is a child. This is my child. So you are still a child. Therefore, I talk to you as a child.
Yeah.
You are
Tapos,
a lesser being. Which does not
I want to emphasize that part. Kasi some
Mm.
parents think na, wala kang karapatan to say something because you're just a child. You're just my child. Anak ka lang. It's kinda, yun yung mga ganong linyahan na
It is a
nakaka-trigger sobra. Na parang, wow. Sino nga pa nag-ayos ng internet mo? Ikaw ba? Ako. Anak lang ako. Sige, babawasan natin yung bandwidth mo. Yung mga ganong cases. Kaya nga, parang like I said earlier, na we learn from people. We look at it in a different don't want to go as a parent na like that. Kasi I know how traumatizing and annoying that is. Sabi nga sa Bible, do not exasperate your children.
Mm-hmm.
So, diba? And I think that's one of those things na, and also, I think one of the reasons din, I guess, na importante rin yung living and grieving at this point. Alam ko mapupunta tayo sa weird na angle, na tangent. Pero kasi, di ba, ano yan eh, it's important in that discussion kasi lalo na when it comes to parents who can't seem to let go that their children are already in a
Adults.
married relationship who keep on pestering and meddling in the lives of their children.
Hmm.
It's very
Di ba?
Actually, ano naman biblical naman talaga yung living and cleaving, di ba? I think part of the reason there is so that parents do not treat their children who are married with their own children as children. Di ba?
furthermore, they don't treat their children's spouses as children. Like, oh, you're the wife of my child, therefore you're also a child.
Yes, exactly. Tsaka ang spouse, ang mga parents na nakikialam can actually cause division between spouses. So that is that's something that needs to also be avoided. And I think there's the biblical principle of living and cleaving makes a practical sense in that regard, 'di ba? So lang just a few things, no. Shout out kay Paulo Garcia, nagpa-shout out talaga. Hey bro. Hey Romel, he says not jumping to conclusions, giving the benefit of the doubt and doing it well after being triggered. Hindi yung right after being triggered. Hirap naman nun.
Hirap naman nun siya.
Yeah, I think when being triggered, ako talaga step back and balikan ko na lang ito mamaya kesa may masabi pa akong mali.
Right.
Diba?
Mhm.
So I think that's important.
Pag
Yes, go on.
Pag quick-witted ka, di mo na nakakontrol eh. Nasising mo na eh. When you should have sang, nasing mo na eh. And regrets na lang afterwards. Parang, what did I just say?
Ninay also mentions here, everything everywhere all at once. Yung parenting daw ng character ni Michelle Yeoh. So, rather than at the start of the movie, parang rather than really nurturing her child, parang puro criticism and typical of Asian parents, 'di ba? Tapos yung parang yung mga things na nakakahiya, hindi ina-expose sa grandparents. So yung mga ganun na But eventually parang at the end of that movie, she learns how to really love her child, her daughter, in a way that parang nurtures talaga. And I think the words that come out of our mouth should be nurturing kasi. Yun yung I think idea. Proverbs 18:21. It says where there is power of life and death in the tongue. And those who love it shall eat of it. So parang
if you bring life or death, yun yung makakain.
I think
Yes.
it's the reason why ayoko munang panoorin yung Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Lalabas lang sa
Yun yung trauma lang eh. Feeling ko yung trauma lalabas lang eh. Parang...
But it's
cathartic though. I think you'd like.
Not Chip and Dale. Hindi, yung kay Nicolas Cage na lang muna.
Sa mga nanonood na 10 viewers na, yay, 10 viewers na tayo. This for me this is a personal na recommendation is to watch that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, which by the way is coming out in Philippine cinemas soon. I think by June, July or something like that. And I think it's a really good movie. Ang daming topics na pwedeng pag-usapan about like Asian culture, parenting, mental health. There's so many topics. Sobrang na pinapanood namin, parang there's also about contentment, no? And so parang ang galing, parang pwede talaga siyang pang-discussion movie din.
We might do a talk on that in the future, given that it's an unexpected sleeper hit for me. And it's actually quite a geeky movie. The whole
You should watch it also in the cinema, guys. We don't promote Yar.
Yes.
We don't promote YAR here. So watch it in the cinema when it comes out. It's going to be released here in Philippine cinemas.
It deserves a ticket and popcorn.
Yeah, I actually kind of want to watch it again. I will be the one to admit na napanood ko na siya ng maaga, pero I will watch it again to support the movie.
I mean, I'm gonna watch Top Gun first. Top Gun muna.
Ay, mauna naman talaga si Tom Gunn.
Great.
Yeah, because
I already watched it. It's really good.
Wala pa ako sweldo, hindi ko pa mapanood.
Ninay says, we don't.
We don't. We don't.
We don't promote
YAR.
public.
No, No,
It's
we
in
really
the
don't.
it's in the Discord guidelines.
Public
Our
play.
rule. Even privately, we don't.
Yeah,
So
we don't.
we buy legit video games and all the rest. No crack
Yes.
for us.
We actually, yung hinintay ko nilang makuha ko ulit yung VPN eh. At may magbayad din sa akin sa Disney Plus para makompleto ko yung
Lol.
mga Disney movies.
Well, pag gumamit naman ng VPN, hindi naman yun illegal. That
Yeah.
is perfectly legal.
You're
Minsan
still,
daw,
you're
may
still
kasabi.
paying for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
VPNs are a way for us to pay the business we
Legitimately.
want to support.
Yes.
Because it's just like we want to pay you.
Yes.
That's a totally different
You don't-
topic.
you
I
don't-
think this is legitimate for a separate topic on it.
Yes.
Let's go back to disagreements
Ah.
first.
So sabi
Let's go
ni
back to
Romel,
disagreement.
It's because we're too agreeable with each other that we're going through the topic.
I agree with what you're saying.
Ano lang kasi, I think the group has a good dynamic. Like we've known how to navigate disagreements, and we have had a lot of.
we have had, yeah.
Even
Sabi daw
amongst
dito,
ourselves.
Yes, especially amongst ourselves. We don't always handle it that well, honestly. But
going back to the chat, sabi ni Romel, minsan may kasabihan nga na mahirap magpalaki ng magulang, hehe.
Lagi ko sinasabi yan.
that's why si Lord lang nagpapa ano.
Alex naman says, we unintentionally will become what we don't want to be unless we break the chain and learn how to listen properly. Uy, nag-GH! GH na
yeah.
GH yung statement.
Very
Personally
true.
naman, I
Yeah,
learned,
It's
I
one of
wasn't,
those cliches na those
Well,
people
kasi-
say na I don't want to grow up like you, but then
yeah, pero you turn
in the long run, you think it was just something in movies, but it actually does happen.
Actually,
Yeah,
we turn into the
Yeah.
people we don't want to because we don't identify in the first place what are the things that we don't want to turn into. Alam mo yung hindi natin pre-process ng
Hindi lang yun
maayos.
eh. Hindi lang yun eh. Kasi parang, yes, parang meron pa rin chip over on our shoulders na what they did. To the point na hindi natin na-control yung ginagawa natin. Kaya nga parang, like, yun nga, minention mo nga eh. Ako, if I didn't go through that process, yung GH, I would not be
You
as
would not be
defensive.
better. You
I would not
better.
be as defensive as I was. Na
Yeah.
parang hindi na ako ganun ka-defensive.
Hindi na
much.
ganun ka rough.
That much.
No, I think in terms of Vince, I think in terms of improvement in that regard, you are actually emotionally aware of your weaknesses. Tapos madalas dinadaan mo na lang sa sa dry humor mo.
Yeah. I like my humor really dry.
So
You-
parang
You've changed the implements on your boxing gloves from spikes to more of sandpaper. So it's still-
magaspang pa din pero alam na namin may ano to. May something to, hayaan mo na yan. Pinaprocess na yan.
Yes.
That's true.
Let's see,
Sabi daw ni
we got
Alex,
to-
guest frying daw.
Guest frying.
We're not
No, this is
roasting
just
Vince.
normal. This is just our normal dynamic with
That's
him.
true.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Vince gets fried a lot.
Yes.
I
So,
feel
size-
Air fryer.
Don't worry, because he can dish it out and he can take it. That's why.
Yeah.
He knows that we love him ultimate.
I think it's important, no, when we talk about disagreements, just going back to the topic.
Yeah.
It's just that, when we talk about disagreements,
Hmm.
the Bible actually encourages disagreement in such a way na it goes to a purpose eh. Kasi parang if you look at the Bible, ang daming mga nag-disagree, pero nagkabatian naman sila. Tsaka may mga nag-disagree na hindi naman sila nag-away, nag-disagree lang. So parang I think I think as Filipinos, number one, we take it too personally when we disagree with people. Na parang pinapersonal mo masyado. Yun yung gano'n. Na parang ako,
Friendship over. It's like, no.
friendship over, hindi tayo pareho. And then friendship over na, parang, wow. Hindi pwedeng hindi na tayo nagkasundo. Because we don't-
difference of principle, difference of an opinion on certain topic.
Yeah. Sa akin kasi, like for example, I had an interesting discussion with a Calvinist the other day. or was it the other week? And ako kasi I have no problems with Calvinists. But there are certain aspects of Calvinism that I don't necessarily agree with. Pero hindi ako makipagpatayan about my belief system, whether or not tama yan or mali. Kasi hindi naman magsasuffer yung salvation ko. Sorry guys kung may mga Calvinists nakikinig. but that's my point
Also,
is,
it's very theological.
yeah, and I think there are certain things that, you know, I mean, hindi ako makipagpatayan just because hindi ako naniniwala sa certain aspects of theology that is not even related to my salvation. That's not related to salvation in general, 'di ba?
Mhm.
It doesn't affect yourself.
Yeah. And so, but that's okay because disagreements allow us to analyze what we believe in the first place, allows us to dissect it, it allows us to process it, 'di ba?
So most of the disagreements kasi, I guess, just for me, doing a macro view of disagreements in general and
Mhm.
criticism in general, it's like, where do disagreements arise from anyways? Like, so let's say there's work disagreements on how to do things. Like, all those things I feel are a bit easier. Easier in the sense na generally there are good options with regards to maybe career paths and whatnot. Most of the more emotionally, relationally tricky ones are, because they're emotional, relational, and personal. So
Mhm.
I'm just
Pero
kind of jumping around here. So
yeah, but I think this in general kasi we tama naman na bumabalik tayo sa pride because when we disagree with people, it's a certain that I'm right, you're wrong. Ganon yung
essentially, yeah.
idea. And mas lalong dala yan nung recent elections, 'di ba? Parang people were like disagreeing and then I'm right, you're wrong. Rather than this is how I see it, this is how I view it.
Instead of trying to see it how the others did.
Yes, and I'd like to see how you view it. Pero instead ang sagot sa iyo, hindi, mali ka pa din. And that's gaslighting eh. Parang pag ganun yung
I mean, from a certain point, even for me, like even if you think the other person is, example, even if you think the other person is wrong, right? And let's say they are or they aren't.
Mm.
For example, right? What is important? Being right or achieving the greater good. Diba? Kasi I think the argument, especially for the election, is that whoever candidate you want to vote for or whoever whatever you're pushing, you think it's for the best of people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Para lang clear guys actually.
Ideally speaking, there are people who don't care what's for the best of people, they just want for the best of themselves. In which case, I don't need to talk to you. But for people who actually wanted to vote for what they felt was the best for everyone, then you should be open to discuss. Right? Kasi, it's a conversation. Okay, I want to discourse. I want us to vote for, or I want us to decide on whoever is best for the country. Therefore, ganon. Usap tayo. But, of course, the other option was, which I mentioned earlier, is like, I just want what's best for myself. I don't need to convince you. That's why I don't need to talk to you. Kasi wala akong pake sa'yo. Ito yung best para sa akin eh.
Actually, it's also funny because I mean, I look at us and I know iba-iba yung mga natin are leanings in towards in elections. And ako kasi even with candidates that are talagang ako personally opposed to a certain candidate, I'm willing to listen to their viewpoints. And usually pag nagbigay naman ako ng viewpoint, that's when I get shut down because they don't want to listen to what I have to say. And ako sabi ko, parang okay, if you're going to discuss things and you're not going to listen anyway, what's the point of discussing? 'Di ba? So doon ako sa point na wag na natin pag-usapan. Kung magagalit ka lang din naman, wag na natin pag-usapan. Kasi ako hindi ako nagagalit eh. Kung magalit diyan, wala akong pakialam. Because I'm just out to talk about it, discuss it, and if it's not if you don't agree with me, then you don't agree with me. Tapos na yung usapan sa akin. Hindi siya parang you don't agree with me, away na tayo. Ako I never even unfriended anyone on what they call this, on social media, or blocked anyone.
I never unfriend people. Ako, I just unfollow them.
Pag minsan may one time may in-unfollow ako only because sobrang toxic na talaga. Na hindi ko na medyo you may point na parang umiinit ulo ko, no? Pero hindi ko
it's not
kinakat.
healthy for you not to be seeing it.
Yeah, but hindi ko kina-cut off yung ties with this person because at the end of the day, what does that tell me about myself if I'm unfriending people who disagree with me? 'Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
What does it say about my kind of love or my kind of Christ if just because I disagree with you, hindi na kita kakausapin, that I will no longer interact with you, I will no longer engage with you? What does it tell me about myself? And what does it tell me about the kind of God that I follow? What does it tell me about the kind of beliefs that I have if I do that? 'Di ba?
So to make it clear, what does it tell us for people? If you are very dense, which there are dense people, I'm one of them. So sometimes hindi obvious. What does it mean? It means na if I'm not willing to listen to other people, ano ba? I'm only willing to listen to myself and the people who are exactly the same as
Then
how do we put this?
ako, I would say that you're selfish. That you exist in your own echo chamber. Diba?
True. If you're just cherry picking like comments and stuff.
It's like cherry picking what you see in the Bible. Na parang ito, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. But the Bible also...
Yeah, I guess in a simple point, yun, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. You're basically saying that I guess a very extreme way of saying it is that you're God. Because only
In a
your
sense,
way is correct.
Yeah.
What if it happens that the truth is a little different from what you know?
Yeah.
Diba? So parang, and if you're always correct, because that's basically what you're saying, lahat ng sinabi ko, everyone who disagrees, I don't want to hear it because mali kayo. Flip it around, it means everything I say is correct, everything you say is wrong. Everything everyone else says is wrong. Everything I say and the people who agree with me is correct. That means ako lang yung tama, kayo yung lahat parating. You're actually saying that you're perfect. You have the absolute knowledge over everything that happened. That's kind of basically what you're saying, even if you're not actually saying it.
I think that's where also accountability is important and people who are close to you are able to tell you what's what. Kasi ako, personally, I have to check myself from time to time. Am I being selfish? Am I being unreasonable? Am I being not understanding of what other people are saying? Am I trying to just railroad everyone into believing what I'm believing? Kasi kung ginagawa ko yun, then ako rin yung may mali, di ba? Then I'm also being selfish in that regard. And I think that's why it's important that there are people who are willing to, hey bro, parang OA ka na. Mali na yung ginagawa mo. Or hindi na loving yung ginagawa mo. Hindi na
Basically.
Diba? And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but that is a reality that all of us have to understand. That parang we all have to check ourselves, our biases, and disagreements are important. I mean, like, for example, si Barnabas and si Paul, the Apostle Paul, had their own disagreements on what to do with John Mark, no, in the Bible. And for those who don't know, no, John Mark actually became a very important part of the movement of the gospel during that time. No. Ayaw ni Paul, gusto ni Barnabas. Parang alam mo 'yon, but after that, nagkabati naman uli si Barnabas sa si Paul. It wasn't something like they had a disagreement about something, but it wasn't something that affected their
friendship over agad.
Oo. Which is, yun yung problema pag nakikita ko sa mga disagreements ngayon, lalo na sa social media. Hindi nag-disagree lang kayo, away na kagad. Nag-disagree lang kayo, nag-unfriend na kagad. And then like, guys, chill. We need to learn to hear it because we're not perfect eh. We all have blind spots.
Yep, we do. That's why we need people to watch our backs.
Yes.
True.
That's why I'm glad that these four, tatlo pala kayo. These
He
three
just
people
counted
with me.
One of us has two.
Wow.
So there's a bad way to reflect that.
Clearly,
No, or he counted me and Vince as 1.5 people per each.
Grabe.
I'm just kidding.
But,
Yeah.
I'm glad that the 3 people here with me, yan, para clarity. No?
Maganda kasi guys.
Are there to watch my back too.
Maganda kasi dapat laging
Sometimes stab it. Kidding. We don't
It's
stab your
always
back. We
good.
stab you in
I
the front.
mean, yeah, we don't stab you at the back kasi we stab you at the front.
Exactly.
I see it
Mm.
coming.
Mm-mm.
Best way to stab you.
Stabby,
Which is basically criticism and feedback. Diba? That's basically what it is.
I
That's why
mean,
you don't do
Well,
a
true.
Julie
If
You're
just
not
slandering
wrong.
behind their back. Slandering is behind their back. So
Oo nga eh. If you're gonna
criticism and feedback is in front into their faces.
Ako
Hindi
honestly,
go.
my biggest pet peeve is people talking about me behind my back and never coming up to say it to me directly. Naiinis ako sa ganun kasi para sa akin, may problema ka sa akin, sabihin mo na lang sa akin. So at least I can improve. I know that I can change. Pero kung wala ka sasabihin sa akin, why should I worry about it as a problem? Gets
Yeah,
nyo ba? No, of
Sino
course,
ba?
I already try to consider everyone around me as people that I want to be loving. Iisipin ko pa ba yun? Yung mga bagay na ganun. 'Di ba? Pero that's just me, and that's also something that I'm also trying to improve. Na hindi ako magalit kahit pag-usapan ako behind my back. No? But of course, parang
May
mas,
iwasan yun eh. Parang people will.
yun nga eh.
so that we have to learn how to process that.
I agree. Agree ako dun. Again, hindi perfect.
Ayun. So para ba? Do we have any hot question from our audience?
Meron
Okay.
tayong insights from the from-
Si Jean Margaret been commenting a lot. We could.
What do you
I
have?
think.
He says that I think some people daw do it because drown na sila sa chaotic press. They see their candidate as an oppressor, and if you don't see their candidate as the right candidate for as a savior, they hate you for that because it's personal to them.
Yeah, that is a thing. Which is it's a little off, but it also connects to what we're talking.
Yeah.
Because
Kasi,
they make the candidate personal. Like
Yeah.
I vote for this person
Parang-
represents me.
so parang
I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be
That's
your
true.
representative.
That's true. So if you attack whom they've chosen to represent themselves, it feels like you're attacking. It's a very interesting topic, no? So it's
Yeah.
like if you're
I
saying
think kasi, I think it's also a question of who you put your trust into, I think, in terms of politics. Kasi para sa akin, minsan nakakainis yung pag-atake nila dun sa kandidato ko. Pero I don't take it personally because at the end of the day, my candidate is not perfect either. No? There are things na sa kandidato ko, nasabi ko tuloy kung ang gender.
Anyway.
Nasabi ko tuloy. But anyway, may mga parts sa niya na hindi ako completely agree with sa what do you call this, stance or platform niya. But I made my choice based on the knowledge that I have about this person, and that's why I chose them. No? Pero kung let's say, kaya nga natatawa ako yung mga tao na nagre-react na move on na, natalo na yung kandidato mo. Hindi naman siya about my candidate losing eh. So para sa akin, at the end of the day, it's still God who is sovereign and in control above all else, no? And more of really, it's just a question of this was my choice. It wasn't a personal thing, and we don't have to take it personally, sa totoo lang, para sa akin. Hindi naman siya kasi what you call this, bakit kilala ba ako ng kandidato ko? Personally ba kilala ko ng kandidato ko? Pag binoto ko ba siya o hindi ko siya binoto, magagalit ba siya sa akin? Hindi eh. And I think that's also the same way for all the other candidates. Parang, for the most part, they don't know who you are. You're defending them to the death. They don't know who you are. Are you gonna get anything from what you're doing, di ba? So,
Yes.
I think we should approach disagreements from a from, how do I put it? From a, parang
Place
dapat,
of efficiency. Joke
I
lang.
believe someone said give them benefit of the doubt.
oo.
Yeah,
And
somebody
Like
said
There's that.
in the comments, someone mentioned that, and I
Kanina.
think that is very important. Like what's the word? You always have the. It's hard, but there is the thing where you can just try as much as you can to just have the viewpoint na that you just want to help, and it does in a way it will help you out a little. It will help you out in um say with how you respond to them. Then
Though I get it on some people na mahirap talaga, lalo na
yeah,
for people like me na type 6, I am suspicious of everyone. So parang, I mean, hindi, you're out to get me. Bakit ganun? Ano po mapapala mo being nice to me? Mga those kinds of things na parang,
It's also
ano rin siya it's a practice lang din talaga.
it's a wonder how you got friends.
I
If
know,
you're
right?
so suspicious, no?
Ano?
Alex, listed down some, dito, reasons why people have disagreements. Number 1, pride. I think we discussed this already, no?
Yes.
Number 2, traumatic past. Yes.
true.
Mhm.
I think some people don't understand this. Like ako, in terms of I hate to go back to politics because yun yung mga recent disagreements ko eh. But traumatic past because my parents went through a traumatic past with a certain candidate. And so when people try to gaslight it as if it never happened, nakakaano siya eh. Nakaka-disappoint siya eh. 'Di ba? So parang I just have to make sure that when I disagree, I don't approach it emotionally or else magagalit din ako and I'll just become like the people I'm disagreeing with, 'di ba? No. So, but totoo yung traumatic past eh. It can influence how we respond to certain issues. 'Di ba? Ikaw ba dyan? May traumatic past ka ba?
How to answer that? No, I know. Well, okay. It's only in the sense that I think all of us, because we are in a very dysfunctional world,
Mm.
and we are in a dysfunctional country and a dysfunctional community. So parang, I think goes with the, what you call it? Goes with the territory that lahat tayo medyo may mga traumas from our families, experiences, personal experiences, and everything. I mean, it would not be. Come on, it's a sinful world. If we don't be real and say that, yeah, there have been traumatizing. I think people overuse the word as traumatizing, like super big things. Like, no, they're minor traumas. They're huge traumas. These are basically wounds that affect us and make us learn or behave in unhealthy ways. Kasi if we had no traumas at all, diba? I think the way that it's being, we would be, at least we have no excuse to be dysfunctional. But thing is, totoo as we are. That's why we end up with so many conflicts, right?
Yeah.
At least the conflict get even more prevalent, diba?
Yeah, totoo yun.
Oo.
So before we continue, I just wanna shout out to everyone who's still watching us on the stream. Make sure to like our stream. And
Yes.
I think for some reason when I went on mobile, lumalabas yung stars. I don't know if that's a bug. But if you can give
Why
stars, why not? So, but I think it's a bug.
Is it a bug? Can
Nakita
you
sa
guys test it
mobile
nga?
eh.
Can you try send some stars? I'm not sure. I'm kidding. Just kidding.
So anyway, make sure to share the no if you're enjoying the discussion so far. I think more people should really be talking about disagreements, feedback, and criticism. No. The next thing on the list of Alex is people skills. So I think this is where tone comes in as well. 'Di ba Vince, people skills.
I don't awkward.
Ano na? Sorry.
I am a very awkward person. I actually, kumakailan lang, as in very recently, I had an awkward conversation. Meron talaga mga certain people na ang nangyayari is I don't know why. hindi ko naman, and I can't understand why I'm like that. Kasi parang, pero may mga certain peoples na pagkausap ko, I say the wrong thing. I can't figure, I mean, nakatawa lang ako na sometimes talaga na may ganun. Na I say the wrong thing to certain people. Pero wala eh. Wala akong magawa.
It's also a learn.
Yeah. It's a learning experience. Feeling ko nga, ano na ako eh. Ninimove na ako sa friends list eh. But, yeah, well, whatever. Kamali ako.
Lol, okay.
But it's okay.
Nandito pa rin kami, Vince. Hindi ka namin i-remove sa friends list.
Woo! Think for yourself. They joke lang.
Grabe!
I mean, I get that from, I understand I'm getting that from John of all people. Pero okay lang. Wala eh, may times talaga na sumasablay lang din ako na I say the wrong things to the wrong people, so today parang ang awkward. And I don't, sometimes, yung pagiging awkward doon is, sorry na lang masasabi ko. I'm not, it looks like I'm socially adept, but I'm not.
But you
You're-
look
you're
very
just-
socially adept.
Yeah, I think the reason that happens is Vince is just not shy.
Oh,
But-
he's far from shy, but
No, I'm just saying, because he isn't a shy person, people confuse that with good at talking to people. It's like, no, I just don't shy
Yeah.
away from it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, I don't mind talking to everyone. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I just don't.
I
But
just,
anyway, different topic.
I don't avoid.
I don't
I don't
avoid
avoid people. Kaya it seems like I am
good at talking.
good at talking to people, but no, I'm not.
She's
Sometimes,
very willing.
pero
sometimes
importante din yun yung non-avoidance. I find that how do I put it, admirable na trait yung non-avoidance, because ako personally
Avoid.
I avoid conflict eh. I am by natural I am conflict
Avoid.
avoidant,
let's
resistant. Yun. So parang pag nakakita ko ng conflict, pag minsan dinedelay ko talaga bago ko sa i-engage, because I don't want to deal with it eh. No.
Right.
And it's not intentional na ina-avoid ko. Talagang subconsciously I'm just doing it na. Because I really don't like conflict. But I think part kasi din ng handling disagreements is learning to confront in a manner that's not in your face. No, in a manner that is
Well, in a manner that's appropriate.
uh,
Because sometimes you do need to confront face, but that actually happens not as often as people might.
yeah.
Yeah.
You need to know how to use different tool sets. Kasi yung problema with us, another reason why we have so many conflicts and problems with criticism and feedback is because we only have one tool in which to give feedback. It's like, all I have is a hammer. That's how I'll give feedback. Hammer time. But that's it's not, doesn't work with people. It's one of the worst. And it's usually only for people who are super tigas ulo.
And I think
But-
kasi parang people become bold when they are online, but when it's face to face,
Yeah. They don't. Backdown sila eh.
so ako na-realize ko kailangan ko matutong maging hindi naman confrontational, but learn to
Yeah, be upfront.
be upfront with people, especially face to face. And if I know that there's conflict, ako na yung dapat unang, what's the word I'm looking for? Ako na yung unang mag-approach. No? Kesa na, and I think that's biblical. Kung ikaw nakakaintindi, you're aware that there is conflict, and God doesn't like conflict. God is a God of peace and order eh. 'Di ba? So parang we should make every effort to make amends. 'Di ba? I remember, I always tell this story, but I always remember that time that God spoke to me 3 days in a row. Nasabi niya parang, if you have a conflict with your brother, you should leave your offering at the altar, go and be reconciled. sinunod niya ng if you love only those who love you, what credit is that to you? So parang alam mo yun,
Pinaiwan ka yata si God sa'yo, John JB.
by the third day, yung sinabi niya, consider others more than yourself. Parang look at to their own interests, not only yours. Parang ako, sige na nga, Lord. Pero, di ba? I think the problem with disagreements often, and even with criticism and feedback, is that sometimes we just don't want to hear it. No, we just don't want to hear it. So we would rather just shut off and alam mo yun, we would rather just be in an argument with other people rather than hear it. Parang and hindi rin siya healthy na we'll just surround ourselves with yes men, no?
Or women.
Or women, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because
definitely is
masastunt
not
yung growth natin as people.
Yeah, if you want to grow as a person, it's better to have people who do care for you, but also may have very different how to go about life. Because that way you get to see more. It is uncomfortable, honestly. Like I personally feel that it's very uncomfortable to have a wide variety of friends who have different ways to approach the world. But as long as fundamentally their heart is they care for you, and of course for us Christians they love the Lord, then their morals and ethics and principles should be fine. It's just that their approach to what to value, how to interact, how to appreciate different things, iba-iba for each person. Like each person will appreciate, value, interact with different things and other people in different ways, just like we do. So if you want to learn to appreciate and everything more, you can't just stick only with your comfort. You have to learn how to accept yun nga, disagreements, feedback, and criticism because we're a certain way, and that specific certain way, that's not the only thing. So much more than just that singular view, your viewing.
And I think this is where the idea of unity and diversity comes in. No, university.
Ay.
Unity and diversity. Na it's understanding that we're not supposed to be of a single mind. Or else, di dapat naging robot na lang tayo. Hive mind ko, no? No,
Yeah.
we should, unity and diversity means is that we have a diverse set of thoughts and ideas, and some of them don't necessarily jive with each other, but we are united under one God. We are united under one core belief, no? And I think that should allow us to resolve our disagreements with each other.
Bakit yung resolve mo ang lalim nun?
Because
Resolve.
there are people who don't want to resolve.
That's
ang emphasis talaga, no?
There are people who don't want to resolve things.
Kasi ako, I'll be honest, before, a long time ago, when I was a young boy,
Hindi na akin yung warthog, akin yung warthog.
when I was a young boy,
Hindi, masyado nang gamit
my
si
father. No, just
Masyado
kidding.
nang gamit si, si that song. So,
But anyway,
that was a young warthog na lang.
as I was saying, when I was younger, I have a hard time receiving feedback or criticism or even yung being disagreed upon because yung naka-hardwire sa akin that I have to be right. That if I am wrong, then I'm doing something wrong as well. No, with my life. No, it was parang it's connected to my approval system, personal approval system, and personal na parang how I am perceived is how I am loved, no? And if people think that I'm wrong, then there's something wrong with me. Wow, lalim ng hugot. But it is something na yun nga parang as you grow older, you have to learn to hear what people are saying even if you don't like what you're hearing, no? Because there is still value in it, because people don't just say things just because, No, hindi naman most people don't throw opinions of you because they hate you. I mean, there are, no, but in general, they don't just do that.
Not everyone's out to get you.
Exactly. So,
If you happen to be in an environment where a lot are, then you have our greatest sympathy.
and maybe it's time to move out of that environment, remove the toxicity in your life. But
Kaya
that's a
nga
different
ako,
discussion altogether.
mag-move out na ako. Joke lang, no?
Wow.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Or am I?
So parang ano nga sabi ko nga, I mean even in this group, I have been tested by the Lord in terms of things with disagreements and whatnot and hearing things that I did not want to hear. But it's important di ba? As iron sharpens iron. Parang na isang araw lang may ka-disagreement ako, di ba? So
iron sharpening iron. It's actually very painful on both iron, di ba? Kaya nagsasparks di ba?
So
yeah.
I think that's where we are as people, and more especially as Christians, is the learning to deal with that. Hindi yung nagtatantrum tayo as soon as may sinabi sa ating masama, which is let's face it, that's the kind of culture social media has right now. That's the kind of culture that a lot of Zoomers have. Zoomers, wow, nag-alienate na kagad ako ng ano, no?
You kind of alienated a certain
Age group,
sir.
certain internet population.
Can't say Zoomers lang. Kasi honest, all of us, Zoomers, Millennium, and Gen Z, we all have this problem.
Yeah, we do.
We all are sensitive. Many. We are. So we're gonna shotgun everyone, including ourselves. It's true.
So I think ano na lang idea siguro for me to talk about is really how do we respond? How do we respond as Christians? Even as geeks. Honestly, pag geeks, ang dami ko na nakaaway. I mean, I was part of the cosplay community. I was part of a gaming community. Alam mo yan, may mga, ang dami ko na nakaaway.
Yung cosplay community pa lang, alam na natin.
Alam natin yan, yes.
Alam na natin yan gaano ka dumi ng community.
How
Like
toxic.
all communities are have their toxic.
Pero kasi there's a certain level of
Juvenileness.
juvenileness? Is that even a word? I don't know.
Let's just say that each community has its own cultures,
Mhm.
and it's possible that certain cultures give rise to certain attitudes
Yes.
more.
Attitudes.
So, which is not to say that there are no mature and healthy. They are, but for you guys who are in all these communities, including ourselves, keep on going, fight the good fight. Say, hirap mag-
Thank you for evening us out, sir.
Yeah, because honestly, the passions we have are not necessarily wrong. They're not. That's why we're here.
And I think,
It's just the toxic people and extremely people who don't
Who's up?
handle things, including ourselves sometimes.
I think it is healthy to have different kinds of passions, no? As long as our ultimate passion is still in the Lord. No, yung mga passions natin na iba, these are to how do I put it? Parang they make us who we are. They make us the people that we are. Our passions do that for us. I think, and it's not like John said, they're neutral in a sense. As long as we don't let those passions take over our lives, no? Because we understand pa din that God is still sovereign and in control, no? Siya pa rin ang ultimately ang ating Diyos ng buhay natin. 'Di ba?
So it's like what they used to say
which is why it's also okay to voice out opinions that might not necessarily be in line with popular
status quo.
I think I found a geek quote that I think fits well into this. Comes from into the topic rather. It's
Yeah.
from the Avatar series.
Ooh. Go.
Yes,
They often
from our favorite uncle
Ooh.
Pyro.
Aw.
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale.
Ooh, ganda.
So that speaks.
That speaks volumes, For me, it speaks a lot of truth into that because
Mhm.
when we stick to one type of hard of belief na or parang statement at hindi siya we don't take note of the diversity around us, we become like many of those groups right now, yung mga like the white supremacist groups or any of those na parang their thinking is the only way of thinking. And we become like that. We become like Nazis even. I mean, so and that's not good. That's definitely not good. I remember that story about how si Mahatma Gandhi was kicked out of a church for not being white because the church is only for white people in South Africa. Sabi sa ganyan. And ang conclusion niya is that he likes Christ but he doesn't like Christians because ganun nga yung trato sa kanya. And that's if you think about it, that's a very sad testimony to hear. No?
Terrible. Well, any final word? As
Yes.
I have no words. Wow.
You
I see.
without
No words?
words.
No. I know, right? Sakit ba ako?
You
oh,
having no words, may sakit ka nga.
it's called. Okay, let's not. I'm not gonna quote what kind of. Ayoko na. Okay, so I guess that's it for tonight. I mean, and honestly, this is a topic that even if Vince has mentioned now, wala siyang words for now. It is technically a topic you keep going on about. Come on, we're always gonna disagree. We're always gonna have things you're not gonna look eye to eye on. But I do hope that we've given you a decent example of a group of people who are talking about what are the realities of disagreement, where it comes from, and how we kind of dealt with it in our life,
How we.
Mhm.
how we weed in our life.
Mhm. Alright.
So, ano, I guess that's it. Ano ba, John? Any last
Last
statement
thoughts. I think important to understand for a lot of people is that if you have a disagreement with someone, number one, we have to consider that it's really not something to fight about. Just because you disagree doesn't mean that you're enemies na kagad. No?
Friendship over.
Oo,
Hindi
na
ganun.
friendship over siya kagad. No, hindi siya ganun. Disagreement can just simply be a disagreement. And if you want to clarify misunderstanding, and if
Mhm.
you really have a beef against someone because they disagreed with you, then you should be the first one to reach out. Mag-usap kayo. Because sabi
Beef or
nga,
pork?
no,
Chicken.
so before pork. Pero sabi nga kanina sa chat I read na there should be communication talaga is important. There should be open communication, open lines of communication. And as Christians, we should never cut off those lines of communication. 'Di ba? We should be open all the time. Even nga medyo to the level na medyo martir na bukas tayo sa pakikipag-usap. 'Di ba?
The question though is, martyr nga ba?
May?
Do you
I-
consider that being a martyr though?
That is a nice big topic which we can tackle in a future date. Should all Christians be martyred? And how?
Well, I think it's a good question, and I think short answer to that is sabi nga sa Bible that we should be of the same mindset as Christ, followed by it being said that even Christ was obedient even death on the cross. So I think that says a lot about how we should be with other people, 'di ba? And those passages are preceded by consider others more than yourself. Look not only to your own interests but to the interests of others. So parang napaka very clear yung doon na And I'm not saying that it's easy na baka hirap niyang gawin. Sobrang hirap niyang gawin because syempre most of the time we're also saying paano naman tayo? Paano naman ako, 'di ba? And
No, but
'di ba? May mga hugot ako na ganoon pag minsan Na paano naman ako? Ako na lang laging umiintindi, paano naman ako? No,
I
but
get that. Kasi kahit ako mismo, I actually experienced that myself. Na parang napakasya na lang ako. Ako na lang ba lagi? Ako na lang ba dapat yung mag-a-adjust? Ako na lang ba dapat yung
umintindi. Pero the Bible says yes.
Yes.
The short answer is unfortunately, guys, yes.
But that's where the Holy Spirit comes in. I think that's where God empowers us so that we can understand. Because kung tayo talaga, bakit nga ba? Bakit nga ba ako yung 'di ba? And the world is going to tell us that no, you should love yourself first, ganyan. But hindi yun
I actually want to be in that topic when that happens kasi medyo
We will set it.
Yeah.
It's a very deep topic. Like
It's a very loaded one.
Loaded yun na topic.
yeah, so basically that is saan tayo pupwesto with regards to ourselves in the world. How do we sacrifice? Not sacrifice. How do we care for ourselves and not? So, tingnan natin how that. Yes.
So ayun, I think that's with that. And with criticism and feedback, I think we shouldn't just jump to the conclusion that people are out to get us. I think we should take the time to listen to the feedback, find out where it's coming from, and see if there is any merit to it, and is there something that we can improve on from it. If not, clarify. Anong ibig mo sabihin sa sinabi mo? Diba?
Yeah, clarify before you crucify.
Very good, very good. Ganda ng ng quotation. Gawing na yan. Pang social media na yan. So sabi ni Alex dito, fear is the path to the dark side.
That's
Oh
true.
my
So
God.
just
Fear
as
leads
you,
to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering.
I think just as for my closing statement, don't follow Anakin. He was terrible at handling disagreement, criticism, and feedback.
He's still terrible.
He didn't learn anything until he died. Let's not be.
Until he lifted the emperor up and then put him down.
Put him down very well.
Hmm.
He had a lot of lifting. So Anakin. Anyway,
Yeah,
does he really lift? Yes.
he does lift.
He's had a lot of exercise to be able to completely lift the emperor up.
Exercise, or he just used the force alongside his
Physical strength.
physical strength.
I mean, he is technically a robot, so
That's also true.
Sure.
That's also true. So anyway,
Bionic limbs.
So anyway,
Gio, last
thank
word.
you. Ano ba?
Nothing much. I mean, the quote I got kind of summed it up din kasi. So,
Pwede ba akong
Final words. Go.
Hindi, pa-final promote.
Oh yeah, sure. For closing one.
Yeah, guys, if you're playing Nino Kuni Crosswords, you can join our kingdom. We are at San Capricorn. I just unlocked our newest recipe. You can join us there. We still have slots available.
Yes, Sandcap. Remember.
So, okay. So, for this evening, guys, I just want to remind everyone of my recommendation, our recommendation for a movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once will be showing in Philippine cinemas on June 29. Yes. So, in June 29 ang nilagay dito. Wrong grammar. Anyway. Sorry. I know it was inappropriate, but I couldn't help myself. So anyway, aside from that, if you guys want to hear more about our topics, we have a podcast every 2 weeks here at Level Up Game Nights. So this is our Level Up Geek Night of talk. And you can also recommend podcast topics for us relating to geeks and Christianity. If you want to talk to someone, you can go to BetterHelp. Well, just kidding.
Yeah, you can go to a professional. But if you want to talk about what's the moral standpoint for people who live long and don't die, then yes, that's their cup of tea.
Anyway,
Live
but
long and don't die. You could have just said prosper.
No. Live long and live in a world like carbon. What's it? Altered carbon.
wow, altered carbon. But if you want to
Wow.
talk, if you need someone to talk to, or you just want to talk about geekery and stuff, go and join us in Level Up Geek Game Nights. Our Discord server is invite.gg/lugn, invite.gg/lugn. And we also have our Facebook page that we are streaming from. So you can ask questions or send us messages. We also have a Facebook group where you can share stuff with us and we will reply with hahas. Which we
And
do
you can-
actually.
You can also catch them, and you can also send your text request at 2366.
Wow.
My God.
And if you're looking for
Sorry, I had to do it.
But if you're looking for like news and reviews about something geeky going around in the Philippines, you can visit the Geeks. Yes. He's available on Facebook and his website,
And I'm also
thegeeks.com.
available. Ay, wait. Di ba pala yun? Di ba pala yun?
Yeah, me too.
The three of us are available.
They are
Yeah.
available for friendship.
And
Available for
something
friendship,
more.
single. We're
And more than
single.
friendships.
We're single and ready to mingle.
Okay, guys, medyo nag-devolve na yung discussion.
All right, I believe we are finished for tonight.
I
Thank
just
you.
jumped in on the joking.
Yes, no, I'm actually selling.
This is what happens when the women are not on the stream.
Yeah, okay lang yan.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
And good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.